Greetings, I hope you're all having a lovely day. I am coming off a migraine that's had me laid up in bed for the last 2.5 days. If you've followed my blog or if you know much about me at all, you will know that I have a chronic migraine condition, so I have migraines a lot. It's quite, it ends up being quite disruptive. I thought I'd just talk a bit about how I try to make use of that time. So when I went off work, it's nearly 3 years ago now, because of this condition, probably fell in a bit of a heap for the first 12 months and just vegged. When I have a migraine, honestly, what I want to do is sleep. However, what happens if I sleep all day is then that I mess up my sleep cycle so that I can't sleep at night. And having a disrupted sleep cycle actually contributes to the risk of future migraines. So it's a real juggling act. So when the migraines were infrequent, just take some painkillers and sleep it off was absolutely the best thing to do. But as they became more frequent, it's like I can't sleep, I have to stay awake. And so I can't read a book when I have a migraine. I find my head's just not there. I don't have the mental capacity. And so usually I'll just watch movies, Netflix, whatever, pass the time. Still take lots of painkillers and be dopey and sit in the dark, but just do something so that I didn't fall asleep. Then I hit a point where I'm sort of trying to accept that this is my life. It's, this might get better, but it's very possible it's not going to get better. And I just can't be wasting 50% of my time watching TV. It just feels like, I don't know, just didn't sit comfortably with me. So I settled on listening to podcasts or listening to audiobooks. Podcasts, obviously, you can learn about anything. I mean, you can just listen to something amusing and entertaining, or you can listen to something educational. In my case, my preference is to do both. I've got some history podcasts that I love listening to, but that are delivered by comedians, so they're really good. Or listen to books, and I think for me personally, any book has value in terms of, I don't know, enriching your brain, being something worthwhile to spend your time on. I mean, reading's good for your vocabulary and generating ideas and all of that stuff. But what I tend to focus on now in my reading, I say reading, I listen to audiobooks because reading doesn't work. I'll usually listen to something non-fiction, either business related, psychology, and self-development. Sometimes some straight up history. I also love historical fiction. I can binge that stuff till the cows come home. Ask me anything about the Tudors. I'm an expert. So that's what I tend to do. And I, because listening is so passive, it's quite often you'll just fall asleep when you're listening. So at the same time, while I'm listening to an audiobook, I'll just play some, a stupid game on my iPad, Candy Crush or whatever, just so I don't fall asleep. And that tends to be how I pass my time with a migraine. And it's, I'm not functioning on all cylinders. I'm not necessarily taking it all in, but it's, you know, it's better than completely wasting my time. So the last migraine attack, which was, I don't know, I think I had 2 or 3 good days before the last one set in. I'm roughly on a two days on, 2 days off roster at the moment. Sometimes a bit better, but that's kind of where I settle. So the last attack, I watched and or listened to a lot of Qualcomm, so the Australian Association for Quality. It's their annual conference, and it's all been delivered online this year. So it's just it's a Netflix style, just video presentations that you can watch at your own pace. So I caught up on some of that, and because I wanted to, I knew there were going to be things that I wanted to follow up, because this is my professional interest. So I grabbed a notebook, and I had a notebook on the bed, and I just wrote down some notes whenever something came up that I wanted to remind myself of or find out a bit more about. I thought, that's a good idea. I should just leave the notebook by my bed, because who knows? I've got another system. I've got a system for everything. Believe me. I've got a routine where once a week I gather all my notebooks from different locations and collect all that information and put it into my calendar or my project list, or wherever it belongs. Lock it in somewhere so I don't completely forget about it, because one of the reasons I'm so systematic about things is because I've got terrible memory. So I had the notebook by my bed, and I was listening to my books, and I made a heap of notes. Now, trying to remember, what did I listen to in the last 2 days? I read a book called Good Habits, Bad Habits. Just pull up my book apps and I'll tell you what I read. I had been listening to a historical fiction about St. Paul, actually, in Damascus. So I listened to that, I finished that. I then read a book called Good Habits, Bad Habits by Wendy Wood. I made a few notes about that to follow up. What else did I read? I've got like half a dozen book apps. That's how much I listen. Pride of Lions I listened to. That is about historical fiction about Brian Boru's son, the considered one of the great leaders of Ireland. I read Pride of Lions, that's about the Plantagenets. Currently reading something called The Red Prince, which is about John Gaunt. Did another non-fiction and I can't think of what it was now. Gone out of my head. Anyway, what else have I? So I've got a stack of notes of things that I want to follow up on. And I actually, during this particular migraine, I came up with an idea of a book that I might like to write. So that's really cool. Always kind of fancied writing a book, but I've never known what I would write about. What else have I got? I listened to an amazing podcast, the Brené Brown podcast, and she was talking to the authors of a Harvard Business Review article called Stop Telling Women That They Have Imposter Syndrome. It was absolutely mind-blowing, so that's on my list of things that I have to follow up. So, yeah, that's it. My notebook lives by the bed. That's how I try to make use of my time when I'm spending half my life stuck in a dark room because my head is killing me. It's, it's better than nothing.